Hey guys. So we know that over the last, several days, there's been a lot of conversation about a certain old person, an old infirm person who had a really bad debate last week. Well, today the Supreme Court just made all of that completely irrelevant because Leonard Leo's hand-picked six, the Federalist Society six, the Leonard Leo six on the court, just declared days before this nation celebrates its independence, presumably from the British King, that the President of the United States and a former President of the United States, that they are a king. They have granted monarch-like powers to Donald Trump.
What's going on, guys? We got to talk about this fallout from this Supreme Court decision where Teflon Don got a 6-3 decision on presidential immunity, effectively barring him from being criminalized over a bunch of bogus charges by the tyrannical left. And these people are fuming. They are steaming mad. The smoke is coming out of their ears because they feel like, no, we want to be able to prosecute our political opponents so bad and you won't let us do it. That's what it really is about. They keep going on and on about kings and dictators and monarchies. But the reality is we've seen how the Democrat Party has weaponized the justice system. As a matter of fact, even the Young Turks has something to say about this.
Of something that already happened, could have led to a prosecution of a president. And before you decide whether you like this or don't like this, hold on and find out which president and what they did.
Right.
Right? Obama killed an American citizen with a drone strike.
With no due process.
With no due process, and did not ask the courts. And his attorney general said that due process is not necessarily a judicial process, so we never had to ask any courts. The attorney general and the president talk. They decided it's within their official duties to unilaterally execute an American citizen abroad, and they did. And so now I think they both should have been prosecuted for that. Of course, they never were because they're in the elites, right? But now that's official, like you can't even ask. Absolute immunity. And okay, that was abroad. What's to stop them from doing it at home? Well, you say, well, that's not an official duty. How do you know it's not an official duty? He says it's an official duty and you're not allowed to ask. And so this is insanity.
But the Democrats are prosecuting Donald Trump in 4 separate cases.
But you can't.
And look, you can agree with those prosecutions. The only case that actually went all the way through was Alvin Bragg's case alleging, that Donald Trump falsified business documents in order to cover up the hush money payments to Stormy Daniels. And that case, unfortunately, is, in my opinion, was the pettiest one out of all of them.
But
and that's the one that actually went through. And so the public, generally speaking, does see it as a politically motivated prosecution against Donald Trump.
It's crazy when even the tyrannical leftists, the progressives and chiefs themselves, Mr. and Mrs. Bernie Sanders, freaking agree that the justice system is being weaponized against a Republican presidential candidate.
Let's have a real conversation about who the Democratic candidate should be. So first, I officially nominate Bernie Sanders.
Now, before we get to AOC talking about impeaching and possibly removing justices who she doesn't agree with politically, I want to get to some of these nutcases at MSDNC, aka MSNBC, talking about how vehemently they disagree with this and how this is a new world order. It's always fear-mongering with these people. Take a look.
I really did not expect that they would do this. And they, Donald Trump and his counsel asked for this 100% absolute immunity thing, which was insane. I would say they got 105% of what they were asking for. And this is a death squad ruling. This is a ruling that says that as long as you can construe it as an official or quasi-official act, you can do absolutely anything, and never be held accountable, not only while you are president, but forever.
This election is no longer about the old guy that's in the White House now. Like, all the op-ed pages and the New York Times can run around and opine about, what Joe Biden should do. And, y'all have fun with that. Enjoy yourselves, intellectual thought leaders. I no longer care. Doesn't matter to me anymore. They have now arrogated to themselves the power to decide all federal rules. Everything, whether your plane that you fly in is safe, how much carbon can be in the atmosphere, how much filth can be in your water. They said agencies that have experts can't decide that. They will decide that. So they are kings, and Trump is king. You put him in the White House, combined with this court and a Republican House and Senate, we're done, y'all. All the rights that were won in the 20th century, the hard-earned rights of women, laborers, workers, the rights of children. Remember, child labor used to be legal. The rights of black folks, forget that. The rights of non-white immigrants, forget that. All of the 20th century, they are trying to repeal the entire 20th century, and they're doing it fast. Between them and these crazy Republican governors, they are repealing the American century, the 20th century, because they don't like it and they want back the 19th century. The century when super rich white men, unchecked and untaxed, amassed great wealth, passed it down with no taxation to their descendants and pretended that they had earned it on their own, that they were just masters of the universe. They want that era back. They think that the 20th century was an abomination and they are dismantling it. They're coming for every single one of our rights. They're not done. They're not done. You don't think they're coming for all these rights? Then you are delusional. They're coming for all of it. They're dismantling the 20th century. They are repealing the 20th century. This ain't about Joe Biden anymore, y'all. It ain't about his policy. You cannot allow Republicans to control the White House, the House, and the Senate, and the Supreme Court, and all of these states. You're now voting for your life. You must vote. Listen to Taraji P. Henson, y'all. Project 2025. They've now just implemented it from the court. You don't even need it now. You have this court, plus Trump, plus the House, plus the Senate, plus all these states. Y'all better vote for your lives in November.
I tell you what, I get so freaking tired of the fear monger. It's always something akin to Hitler, dictatorships, monarchies, imperialism. It's always like the most far out, outlandish, ridiculous stuff you can possibly think of. It's never like normal. Like, these people act like Donald Trump literally took millions of people and shoved them off a cliff or threw them in the ocean or burned them alive. That's what these idiots act like. Like he's going out here lynching people or something. These people are nuts. Totally bonkers. And that's what they're acting like for this corrupt Supreme Court as well. Like they were just for law and order when Trump was convicted as a felon. They're all for law and order then, but now all of a sudden they're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. We don't like the highest court in the land doing his job if we disagree with what they're doing ideologically. No. We want to impeach them. But when we're prosecuting our political opponents, that's fair. Making up BS charges, rigging the freaking jury, judge, everything. But when the Supreme Court put in fairly, nothing was strange or weird about how the justices were put in. Just so happens that Trump happened to be in office, spots opened up, he put more conservative leaning justices there. Because of that, they're trying to turn around and impeach the freaking justices. Crazy. Without further ado, let's get into this.
She plans to file articles of impeachment, Judge. Here's the tweet. Throw it up on the screen. The Supreme Court has become consumed by a corruption crisis beyond its control, she writes. Today's ruling represents an...
You got 90 plus charges against Donald Trump and have the audacity, the unmitigated gall to talk about corruption. Let's not forget that fool, Bowman, pulling a fire alarm, her best buddy, pulling a fire alarm to disrupt a vote. These people are so hypocritical. I cannot wait till all of these losers need to get voted out this November. I cannot freaking wait.
Assault on American democracy. Now it's up to Congress to defend our nation from this authoritarian capture, she writes. I intend on filing articles of impeachment upon our return. To you, Judge.
You know, Sandra, whenever anyone on the left talks about an assault against democracy, you know that it has little, if any, meaning. That's their go-to line when they don't have a substantive
argument. It's crazy. Like, you don't see people going after the judge with Judge Juan Merchan for the hush money trial, and you don't see them trying to impeach him and get him removed. Even though people disagree with the verdict and the jury and all of this stuff, inevitably people are accepting it and just trying to fight it legally. These people talking about impeaching judges on the Supreme Court, highest court in the land. If anything is questioning our justice system, that's questioning our justice system and putting serious doubt in literally the three major branches of government: judicial, legislative, and executive. That's the highest level of the judicial branch. When you think judicial, you think Supreme Court. And they can't even accept that.
Look, our government is set up in a way that there are three branches. The Supreme Court is a branch that has final decision on legal decisions in this country. They are not willing to accept it if it doesn't align with their political ideology. And this is part of the institutional breakdown of our government. We are now in a scenario where the left and the people who call themselves progressive are not willing to accept a 6-3 decision by the Supreme Court. But make no mistake, there have been administrations, there have been politicians who have been in disagreement with decisions for the last 150 years. But
it don't
now,
matter.
All of a sudden, they think they should be able to impeach a Supreme Court justice. Look, a lawyer can be brought before the grievance committee for trashing a Supreme Court justice. And the sad part about all of this is there is a final ruling in this case. Their hatred for Donald Trump, their political ideology that causes them to support someone ideologically or cognitively declined is something that they consider paramount, and they're willing to do anything to destroy our system.
Of course they are.
Well,
That's how the tyrannical leftists work. They don't care about democracy, and like they don't care about the judges being appointed fair and square. These people do not care, man. They never have. That's how many times do we need to see Joe Biden fall over and stumble and mumble over his words and hear these people try to defend him and shove him down everybody's throat before we realize that these people are corrupt and it doesn't matter what they say. They are liars and gaslighters, plain and simple. They will destroy this government. They will sooner destroy the entire country than not get their way. They're like children. You got to treat them like children. That's why on this channel, we're belittling these losers every day. We're delegitimizing them every single day because this is how you get these people out of the way. These people need to lose all credibility, all respect, and then finally they'll get voted out. But if we keep legitimizing clowns like AOC, then this country is totally doomed.
I just want to sort of circle back to where we started, which was with AOC calling for articles of impeachment following this ruling. And you had heard ahead of this decision, top Democrats, Chuck Schumer among them, asking for Justices Alito and Thomas to recuse themselves from this case, making allegations about impartiality questions. What kind of an impact does it have when you have our elected leaders sort of questioning the credibility of the court?
Yeah, well, something that they just criticized Trump and all of his supporters for doing. Now look at them. These people are hypocrites. It's always been that way. They're always going to be that way. Whenever something goes their way, it's fair. When it doesn't go their way, oh, it's a travesty. Clutching the pearls. These people are nuts.
It has a huge impact. And I think that the Supreme Court has of late been subject to tremendous criticism. And I think that, there's a reason that our founding fathers wanted these justices to serve for life. I mean, they should not be affected by the mob or by the criticisms or the attempts to impeach. And I think that more than anything, they recognize how important their job is. In this case, Gorsuch said it himself. It's not just about the case before us. This is a case for the ages. And they knew that. And that's what the decision reflects.
These radical leftists will literally attack any and everything that they can in order to have their way. That's something that has been demonstrated over and over again, and it has been proven. They will go after their political opponents using the justice system. They will smear them in the media. They will literally make up lies. Just ask Ron DeSantis in Florida about that, about Black history, critical race theory, and don't say gay. Ask him about all of that stuff and whether or not the Democrats told the truth about that. They still lie on him if he comes up in conversation. Okay, they will do any and everything, lying about Joe Biden. Okay, like these people are radicals attacking the Supreme Court. standing up for the corn star Stormy Daniels and the convicted liar, proven liar, admitted liar Michael Cohen. These people do not care. They do not care. They don't deserve any votes whatsoever. They don't deserve any support. It is freaking sad that anybody out here doesn't know the truth or doesn't understand that their mind has been corrupted, polluted by a bunch of radicals, power-hungry people that unfortunately are smarter than them, and they're manipulating them into their vote. And they're going to keep doing it as long as it works. They're going to keep doing it. In the case of Joe Biden in this election, they're trying to do it, and it doesn't even work. It's not working. Nothing's working. It's because their strategies are dumb. But that's why the Supreme Court's their next target. They're going to attack everything and burn this world to the ground if we let them. But we're not going to let them. We're going to elect Trump. We're going to have a conservative president, conservative Senate, and a conservative House come this November. Count on it. Everybody get out and vote just so you can tick these people off, if for no other reason, just so you can make them mad. Okay, we got to make sure that Trump gets elected and that we get these nutcases out of office before they vote to totally dismantle this entire 3 branches of government, because it doesn't work out how the leftists want. We got to change the branch. We got to make 5 branches instead of 3. Like, whatever BS they're going to come up with in Congress, trust me, they will try it. And we can't let them get away with murder around here, because if we let them, they already got people talking about killing Trump using this presidential immunity. There's tons of people I've seen talk about it. It is nuts. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. I appreciate you watching the Black Anomaly Rising channel. I'm out.
What happens to you if Donald Trump wins? What do you do? What's your first move?
I mean, it sounds nuts, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if this guy threw me in jail.
Really?
He's out of his mind.
Hey man, you're black. You are too. What the